Previously on the Great Skies project, this is Fontaine. The 1980s. I think her face is very unique. I love that. By the way, we need to talk about the aesthetic of this hood. Look at this. So, Sylvia lost her husband and remarried, but she already had 2 kids, and her new husband Christopher had 1. So now they are a really big family trying to figure things out. Akiko lives very far from everybody else in town. She doesn't have any neighbors and it almost seems like she's hiding in this tiny house. The storyline here is very cool and intriguing. Akiko died from an electro discharge but somehow resurrected, and now she should get in touch with her family. At least that is what I think she should do. It totally translates 1985 for me, and I'm so happy someone managed to save these files, cause this could be now a forever lost media, okay? Hey, what's up? Grey Skies is my custom HUD for Sims 2, and while it's not ready, we'll be checking out other custom HUDs together. So join me on this adventure and don't forget to let a comment down below, okay? Hello baby boys and welcome to Creusa Sims. My name is Creusa Darwin, but I think you already knew that. I'm from Strangetown, actually I'm from Brazil, that's why my English sucks. And this is a custom HUD whose name I'm not able to pronounce, and I'm not even gonna try it because I always mess up. Anyway, the name translates to the Lost Islands, so that's what we are going to be calling it, cause I know you cannot pronounce it either. This is actually our season finale for the Grey Skies project. Yes, if you don't know, and how could you know anyway, every series of this channel have seasons, and each season have 5 episodes. We already went to Alien Landing, the amazing and very far away moon. Then we met Fellbridge, a classic HUD in 1994. After was Woke Hill, the wolf-inspired HUD that had us howling, and then finally Fontaine, the almost lost media HUD. Now we have this, and this is look amazing, come on now. I feel like I'm always praising the builds and the aesthetic of these custom HUDs, but that's cause they deserve it. The custom HUD makers, if I can say that, are really good builders in general. This is looking so freaking awesome, and it totally translates to Sims 3 Island Paradise but in Sims 2. And by the way, just like the original, it is a little bit glitchy. You will be needing to download the traits and the mermaid mods, which I luckily already had. I know that everybody prefers CC free HUDs, but guys, it is totally worth it. So this HUD, from what I have understood, is divided into tribes. The wolves and the merfolks. Of course, they are enemies, and the stories here develop throughout this rivalry. Sea and soil, 2 opposite states, 2 vast and unique environments. Swords and sun, take a trip on the ferries to the tribes, the wrecks or the ruins. Sailors and civilization, history and the modern day collide in the structures across the islands. Now let's meet our first family, the Abanots. The tribal leader, his beloved, 2 children, and not a hound in sight. Arguments are often heard from the manor regarding the third subject matter, a microcosm on the micropelago. Some of the houses in the Lost Islands also have bios similar to Sims 3. It reads, the residence of the Merfolk Pod's leader and his or her lineage. Supposedly the oldest building in the Steel Archipelago. I will say this, the looks of this HUD are probably the best ones so far in the Grey Skies project. Alien Landing was also great visually, but I think the Lost Islands are my new favorite one when it comes down to aesthetic. Look how cool not only the house is, but the whole environment around her. This is Derek, and he's a merfolk, but not only that, he's the leader of the pod. He's a knowledge sim, and his bio reads, Derek, the leader of the merfolk, well, I just said that. A man of the pod, the ocean, and very much not a fan of the feral fairy menaces on the mainland. He blames Dan for the destruction of tourism to the ancient temple and the oil rig that was so proficient in floating the pod's coffers. He retired as a patrol officer, that being the level 3 of the law enforcement career. Since we are talking about tribes, the family trees in this hood are very large and have a lot of connections, as you can perfectly see. The memories in this hood are kinda off. You see, this man have 2 kids, but he doesn't remember having a first kiss or woohoo. That is probably getting fixed cause this is a very recent word. I don't think the lifetime ones were choose for the Sims either, so we'll be not covering them in this video. Also, I won't be repeating myself so much this time, saying their star signs, cause you can probably see it. Please let me know in the comments what you guys want to see in these custom wood reviews. Janet is his wife and she's a family sim. Her bio reads, Janet, a mermaid of family, care of the pod has been of the utmost importance. She really doesn't like the smell of dogs, cannies or human porn. Relegation to the Steeled Hawk outcropping has never suited her, the island being a place of her desire. Honestly, only cause the aesthetic and the builds of this hood are so amazing, I do think the creator could spend a little more time in making the Sims, choosing proper outfits and hair that would fit them more. She's unemployed right now and she really dislikes Otivina and Lillian. By the way, if you don't know how mermaids works in Sims 2, you can check my Let's Play Strangetown, cause Ophelia is a mermaid there, so anyway. This is the Merfolk Handsome, son of Derek and Janet. He's a fortune sim and his bio reads, unlike his parents, Handsome isn't interested in antagonizing the other village. After all, they could become valuable customers or even business partners. If or when it's his turn to take the pod's trident, will he forget those who will depend on him for sake of profits? So this is the guy that only care about money. We know him, we get him, so that's fine. He works in the politics career and that is pretty much it. This is the mermaid Ophelia, daughter of Derek and Janet. She's a pleasure sim and her bio reads, Ophelia has taken more after her grandparents than her own. She often wonders how such lovely people could end up with her parents. If or when she's in power, she'll turn the tide to welcome the wolves back to their stealed slice of paradise. Okay, so she goes against what her parents believe as well, just like her brother. She works in the natural scientist career and have a silver talent badge for fishing, which I think all of the mermaids should have, would have been a cool feature of them. The leader's mansion is a floating lot far from the mainland in a mermaid district. It contains 2 smaller and 1 larger bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, many stairs, as well as several water space for the mermaids to be mermaids. As already mentioned before, this hood is basically 2 tribes divided, so every sim is related to another in some level. This is a family of 3 explorers, 2 mermaids and 1 wolf. It reads, 3 rebels moving out to the open seas, away from the meddling and complicated drama of the pod and pack. It is about high time they made the island paradise their own. Their lot bio reads, 3 explorers, eager to explore beyond the trodden seas and soils of home. So this family resides in a ship or a boat. I don't know what word would describe this better, but it's looking good and so creative. This is the merfolk Kike. He's a knowledge sim and his bio reads, Kike has never been a fan of sharing with his pod. Will this merman find the season way more entertaining? He works in the criminal career. He is the son of Olina and Silly and have 3 siblings, Danny, Remy and Horus, the last one being deceased. This is Lizzie. She's actually Kike's cousin and also a mermaid. She's a fortune sim and her bio reads, Lizzie was thrown from the tribe on account of her intrigue of the humans beyond the pod. She works in the athletic career. She's the daughter of Henry and Kelly and have a sister, Mary. This is the she-wolf Tarminia and she's a romance sim. Her bio reads, Tarminia Tar has always wondered why few in her extended pack haven't been fond of the seas, even despite knowing the loss of the Northerner. So she set out with a few of the merfolk on the semi-open Arrow. She works in the dance career. Both of her parents, Willow and Leon, are deceased and she have 3 brothers, Nathan, Barry, and Christopher. To have a roommate type of family is a classic move for any hood, but I have never seen one like that. The explorers live on a ship away from the mainland and near our markets. There is one bigger bedroom and 2 smaller bedrooms. 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, a chest room, and a hot tub with an ocean view. There is also this tugboat that, of course, it is just for decoration, but is a really cool detail. Our next family is composed by 4 girlfriends. It reads, the Edgar Kenny's Museum, the once neglected history of the islanders' arrival revived for tourism and preservation. The lot bio actually tells a little bit more of, the Sims, so it reads, Lillian is the owner of the Edgar Kenny's Museum, tending diligently to the ship that brought the ancestors to this paradise. Her cousin Gertrude not doing that. Their house is looking nice as well. This is Lillian, she's a fortune sim and have the want locked in to promote Viola. Her bio reads, Lillian remembers her grandmother Vanessa and the stories she would tell of the time before the war. A history Lillian banked off by building the museum and restoring the Edgar Kennys. She works in the artist career and is the owner of the Edgar Kenny's Nautical Museum. She have a gold talent badge for sales. Both of her parents, June and Luke, are deceased. She have a sister, Otivina. This is the she-wolf Gertrude. She's a romance sim and her bio reads, Gertrude is rather sick of all the howling and looking for love isn't viable when almost everyone around you is family. At least she has music to keep her spirits up. Yes, finally someone said it. Everyone is pretty much family in this hood, so that can get really weird really fast. She works in the music career. She's the daughter of Kayla and Sammy and sister of Viola and Taryn, and she's also really good friends with Lillian. Now to Ju. She's a fortune sim and her bio reads, Ju has cataloged a lot of the history of the island, being in part successful in restoring old documents and Kenny's graveyard records. She works in the journalism career. She is the daughter of Lena and Cameron, both deceased, and sister of Gary, William, and Paulina. Gertrude is the siblings' cousin. Paulina is a knowledge sim and her bio reads, Paulina has been investigating the injuries sustained on the island. Even paradise isn't safe. She works in the law career. She shares the same family tree and relatives as her sister Ju, of course. Unfortunately, there is not a lot to her, so that was it. The 4 girls live in a nice house with a very nice outdoor area, 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room divided into 3 parts. There's also a beautiful greenhouse crossing the house where musical instruments can be found. Our last family is composed by the chiefs of the pack and her family. It reads, the chiefs has enough problems with intertribal tensions and tourism. let alone her two oldest fighting daily. What role models will they be for the younger siblings? And will Papa Wolf step in? The lot buyer reads. The current chief of the Arrow, Eve has her secrets, the love of her life, and wonderful children. Will the merfolk nearby cause strife as they did for her parents? As expected, the pack leader lives in a large, beautiful house that follows the aesthetics of the Wolf district. This is the chiefess herself, Evie. She's a popularity sim and her bio reads. The current leader of the community, the arrival of the merfolk has not been particularly welcomed by Eve. Will this young wolf carry on the traditions of her forebears? She works in the politics career as mayor, meaning that she's the she-wolf in charge of the whole island, I guess. Eve's parents are Merida and Philip, both deceased. She has a sister, Janine. This is William, husband of Eve. He's a knowledge sim and have the want locked in to become a werewolf, so he's a human. His bio reads. William's father, Cameron, was never one to admit being proud of his children, but to marry into the chiefdom, well, that was quite the accomplishment. Not that William had much of a choice given the size of the tribe. He works in the show business career. His parents were Lena and Cameron. He have a brother, Gary, and he's also the brother of Paulina and Drew, who we covered before. Tano is the oldest son of Eve and William, and he's a knowledge sim. His bio reads, Tano doesn't know how, but he isn't a werewolf, or at least doesn't grow extra hair during the night. Furless is the term he's been given. He isn't sure who will be taken as captain of the tribe, but will come to pass someday. His storyline kind of reminds me of Annie D. Sinclair from Wednesday. Every single one of the kids in this household is a public school student with a C+, as you can see. He doesn't get along at all with his young sister Wendy. And speaking of so, this is she. Wendy is a teenager she-wolf, a pleasure sim, and her bio reads. Sweet Wendy, beloved daughter of Captain Eve, still young at heart. Big sister to little Natalia and a great comfort to the rest of her pack. Incredible shy but has a knack for sports. Henry is younger than Wendy and older than Natalia, a teenager werewolf and a family sim. His bio reads, a lot more active than his hairless brother, and he isn't too pleased about Thanos' rights as upcoming captain. He's not even a werewolf. Perhaps he could forfeit his right to the tribal chiefdom? Natalia is the youngest and yes, a werewolf as well. So even before I downloaded this HUD, I had a mod by Media the Tree for childlike lycanthropy, and I'm not sure if this mod is also required for the HUD to work properly, but if you do have it, Natalia and maybe other children as well will be werewolves, which is really cool. Her bio reads, Natalia isn't happy about living next to her deceased ancestors, though she has her big siblings to pounce on them if they ever rise from their graves. Well, I would feel that as well, so... This is Karina the cat, and her bio reads, Karina isn't friendly like her brother, but she still adores her slavish puppies, often asleep in Wendy's room. And by the way, cats and dogs have tremendously huge family trees here. I don't know what is their purpose in the lore of the islands, but they seem to be a huge part of it. Her brother is Danny, and his bio reads, Railing from the first cats on the canyons, Danny doesn't know much of the official people, only that they smell delicious. The Chiefess family is huge and their house is big enough for all of them. The house is located next to the cemetery of werewolves, their ancestors. It contains 3 bedrooms, two bedrooms, a living room with a greenhouse ceiling and a lot of things to do, a fairly large kitchen, and this creepy room apparently dedicated to dogs even though none live here. And there is even a private beach, so what else could you want, right? Even though our last family was the last one, there is still one family that I would like to showcase, but unfortunately not only they are huge but also very glitchy. The lot is very large and has many floors, making the gameplay very challenging to say the least. But the lot is great. An unnecessarily large hospital building home to the strangest individuals the islands have ever seen. What kind of madness is contained within these walls? And is the bar across the way just a ruse to get more patience? Alright baby boys, that was it for the Lost Islands and also our first season of the Grey Skies project. Should I continue the series or maybe end it here? Let me know what you think in the comments, okay? I would love to hear from you. Also, what is your favorite hood in TGSP so far? As far as the Lost Islands, as I usually say, there is still a lot for you to explore by yourself. The views of this world are probably the best part. You made me stop just to watch it several times, honestly. Yes, it can be a little glitchy, because I think water was never not glitchy in this franchise, honestly. But it's still 100% worth it downloading and playing. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. XOXO Creusa Darwin. In the next episode, well, I don't know, I haven't recorded just yet, but I'll see you there, okay? Bye.